So the New York Jets traded Sam Darnold to the Carolina Panthers.
It's huge.
And they traded him for not a whole lot. I really feel like the Carolina Panthers. I
feel like the Bears probably offered more for him.
Yeah, absolutely. I just don't understand why, what's going on in Carolina. We talked about this earlier in Would You Rather. I would rather build around Teddy Bridgewater, and they just gave him a big contract. Why the trade for Sam Darnold?
I don't know, man. I'm confused as it is. I can't figure it out because, they just signed Teddy Bridgewater that deal. You've also got the 8th overall pick, so you've got 3 options to go with here, essentially. And you end up with Darnold, and it's not a bad. I don't necessarily think it's a bad move because Darnold is a good quarterback. I know he has a lot of interceptions that he's thrown. I totally get that. But I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. You've got Teddy, you've got the 8th overall pick. Did they really not think that? I think it honestly, what it does is really more raises the question to me is that, are we going to see 5 quarterbacks taken in those first 5 picks? Are we going to see all these good quarterbacks go right off the board? Is there going to be a quarterback left at 8? Because I think right now what the Panthers just told us is they're not confident that there's going to be a quarterback on the board at 8. I think that's exactly what this said. So I don't know. I'm very confused by all of it. I'm still trying to figure out what's going on. I mean, I don't know if they're going to trade Bridgewater. I hope they do. I hope they don't make Teddy a backup. I think Teddy is much better than that.
And I feel like we're missing the big picture because I really feel like Carolina won this trade, but at the same time, I feel like this was a move for the Jets to go get Deshaun Watson. A lot of people think this was a move for them to go ahead and pick a quarterback at 2.
I think
this was a move so they can offer the number 2, the number 8. They can offer the Panthers picks for next year that they got from the Panthers, and they could throw all those picks up and package all those picks up and go get Deshaun Watson. I really think that's what the New York Jets are going to do here. I don't think that this is going to be, hey, we're going to go with a Justin Fields or anybody, whatever, quarterback that Jacksonville doesn't pick, which, we all know by now is the worst kept secret in the world, and Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence.
So,
that's simple. Well,
so I feel like maybe this was a play for the Jets to go after Deshaun Watson.
See, and I think it's the complete opposite. I think this is them saying, like, hey, all this stuff. I think this kind of tells us also that the Deshaun Watson stuff may be true. I think that's also what this says, is that, they're done pursuing Deshaun Watson. They've decided they're going to go to the draft. They'll get their quarterback there. Did you see all the stuff with the 49ers, what they did?
Yeah.
So the 49ers tried to trade, or did trade up to 3, right? So the 49ers asked the Jaguars if they could trade for that first overall pick, and the Jaguars said, no way, we want Trevor. That's not happening. They said, okay. They moved on. They then got a hold of the Jets and said, hey, we want the second pick. We'll give you this, this, and this, whatever it was. And they said, no, we want to stay at the second pick. We like what's there. So I think that essentially tells me Zach Wilson's at 2. I think this seals 3 things. I think this seals, in my head, that Zach Wilson is going to go to the Jets.
Yeah, Zach Wilson's going at 2 to the Houston Texans because they're going to trade the Jets for the number 2, the number 8.
Can the Jets trade for Deshaun Watson right now, though, with all this stuff going on?
Why not?
Well, what if you trade all this money, trade all this stuff away, and
if you look at
true?
Logic tells you that this isn't true. Logic tells you that this is something that... I think it's
starting to tell me it is. Did you see he was deleting messages and stuff? They caught him deleting DMs. They caught him texting people, and I believe one of the texts he sent a girl was like, you need to shut your effing mouth. You're going to ruin my career. Something like that. Just nasty things. But the biggest thing that really kind of turned my eyes was whenever they caught him deleting messages. His lawyer came out and said that and stuff and wasn't happy about it. I don't know, man. I hope it's not true. I really do, because I like watching him play. But God, if it's true and he's a sick individual like that, I hope he never steps on the field again. I really do. But like, if it's not true, I hope
I,
everything turns out fine and he plays. I don't know. It's
yeah,
such a weird
I think
situation
that
right
this
now.
trade was a play for the Jets to go take the 2, the 8, plus the 2 picks that they got last year or for next year for from the Panthers and trade that for Deshaun Watson. I think that that's the move there for the Jets, and I think the Texans take number 2 and number 8, and with the number 2 pick, they go ahead and they go ahead and get Zach Wilson. That's what I think is going to happen there. That's the whole reason why I think they traded Darnold the way that they did is because they're going to turn this. They're going to flip him.
I That's tough. I will say I think I do agree with you. I think the Panthers won on this because I think that they got their solid quarterback option of the future. I'm just curious to see what they're going to do with Teddy now because I mean they've got a guy that's still got 2 years left on his contract and he's still he's not out of his prime yet. He's only been in the league for I think 9 years now, so he's still in the heat of his prime. He's still got a little bit left in him too. So I'm just interested to see are we going to see are we going to see a trade of Teddy Bridgewater to get more picks, maybe, and them stack up on draft picks. Who knows?
Yeah,
I'm just
Who
excited to
wants a
see where this
player
goes.
like Teddy though? Just because like all the teams that want quarterbacks, they are pretty much set in the draft. Like they're the top 8 picks in this year's draft. So
what
if
about
you were
the Bears?
so you think the Bears are going to get the Teddy? Like do you think?
No, but I'm saying out of all the teams that are still out there with quarterback needs, the Bears are still one of them. I don't care
Right.
what they tell you about the freaking ginger. I still think that Teddy Bridgewater would be a great play for them.
So what would you give up for Teddy? Just
Beautiful.
because you were going to have to give up something for him because he is under he assigned a 3-year,
I don't
$63
think you have to
million.
give as
No,
much
I don't think you have
up
to
for
give up
him
anything,
because of that
honestly.
contract. I don't think you're going to have to give up too much for him. But I could see something, for when it comes to the Bears. I mean, look,
So
they'll
you're
get
saying that
fleeced. The Bears will probably give up 2 firsts and a third for him. I
so,
mean, who knows? But
so basically what you're saying is you would be so if you were the Panthers, you think they would just be happy unloading his contract onto somebody else.
absolutely, and all, not only that, I think that they handcuff themselves with that contract. Now they're at a point where people can say, well, I'll give you a fourth, a third, and a fourth, and if that's not good enough, well, okay, fine, keep that contract then.
Yeah, I mean
And I
like
think they kind of back themselves in a corner with that.
I mean why you being in the southern Indiana area, you saw Teddy play in college. I mean like you were probably 10 years old like at that point, but you saw him
I love
play
Teddy.
and like Teddy has such a great reputation here in Southern Indiana. Like this tells me, Combs, that there are some red flags. Like, what do you think the red flags are on Teddy?
I don't think there are any red flags. I
There has
just
to be,
think that
right?
he didn't fit in the Carolina system. I think he's gotten a raw deal in everywhere that he's gone. Minnesota bounced him after the injury, and when he went to New Orleans, he was sent behind Drew Brees, and there was no way he was ever going to get a fair shake there as long as Drew Brees was playing the game.
Right.
And now he's in Carolina, and 1 year he got a raw deal. I mean, they did nothing to give him anything in Carolina.
Well, and Christian
So
McCaffrey was hurt.
yeah, and Christian McCaffrey was hurt, so I think that for whatever reason he just didn't fit in the system, and Carolina's not high on him, so they went out and got Sam Darnold.
And they did go 5-12 without any weapons around him and without Christian
Yeah,
McCaffrey. So,
yeah.
why do you think there's any red flags around Teddy at all?
So that's a tough one. I mean, I think that there could be, because I do agree with you on this one a little bit, Buck, because if there wasn't red flags, then I think he'd be starting. I don't think they would have ever traded for Sam. I think this would be a done deal, and he would be, in he would be in a Panther uniform playing quarterback. And I also think there'd be more teams offering right now for him. Teddy Bridgewater is really the only quarterback right now on the market that I can think of that hasn't had an offer for him that has been leaked that we've heard about. I mean, think
Right.
about it. We've heard an offer for Russell Wilson. We've heard plenty of offers for Deshaun Watson. We've now heard and seen an offer and one go through for Darnold. We've seen them all over, but we have not really heard. It's really been stagnant whenever you look at Teddy Bridgewater. So, I mean, yeah, I think that there's possibly some red flags going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. I hope there isn't, but you know what? At this point, they're seeing something that we're not, is what I'm thinking.
Well, on the other side of the coin, they only gave up a 6th-round pick this year for him, and they could, in return, flip Sam Darnold for some more picks, right? So,
Man Hour Nation, thank you for checking out that clip. If you're interested in watching the full show, the link is in the description. Click on it, hit that like button, share it with a couple friends, and as always, Man Hour Nation, rise up.